Hello and welcome back to BeamNG Drive and Wreckfest. I'm Davidinark. That's right. Today we're doing a cool side-by-side comparison of the two dog bone inspired tracks that are available on each platform. On the left we have BeamNG Drive, and this is part of HighDef's mod called Dirt Burners, and I'll have a link to the mod down in the description below. You can check it out. And on the right we have Wreckfest with the boneyard trial here, just driving track. I just thought it might be fun to compare side by side the different tracks, the graphics, just the damage. I don't know, just basically having some fun comparing side by side. Now right now I've got Wreckfest set up in what is essentially arcade mode, and as you can see I'm not driving very well, but anyhow, BeamNG over on the left is just BeamNG. Both of these are set up with 10 laps and 11 opponents, and the reason that is because that is how the HighDef Dogbone track comes in. Now there are two different flavors of it in the mod, so don't let the 11 opponents, their 11 vehicles, scare you, because that's it's definitely for higher end computers that can handle seeing 12 vehicles on the screen, or having 12 vehicles in the game anyway. Whoops, and we spin out over on the BeamNG side, get slammed into the side. There is a lower version that I think has maybe 4 or 5 vehicles in it, so you can definitely check that out as well. Over on the Wreckfest side, as you can see, the damage model nowhere near as complex and complicated as BeamNG. Therefore, if you can run Wreckfest, then you can run it with 11 opponents in the game. Oh, and on the BeamNG side, we get completely taken out. Oh, man. Now, one of the big differences between the two games, the BeamNG side, you can't just hit R to reset should you get flipped over. We are done flipped up out of the game. So essentially what you have to do in BeamNG is just reset, which is either the R key or the I key, and that'll get you reset in the game as we watch some of the opponents go by. What is supposed to happen is that the level is supposed to reset. For some reason on my computer it's not resetting, and I'm actually trying several different things. I tried R, I tried Control R, I tried I. Nothing I did worked. So over on BeamNG we're going to have to bail out for just a moment and go reload the scenario. So that's what's happening over on the left. In the meantime, on the right, we are hoofing along. I believe at this point, oh, I think I was in third place, but so much for that. Yeah, I just threw that out the window. Wow. Oh, it's so weird watching this side by side as compared to when I was actually playing each of the games individually. Man, just seeing how stupid I am. That's what it amounts to. Whoops. Somebody is out of the race over there. They were sliding across the track. Speaking of sliding, over on the Wreckfest side, we were sliding around the bend. Oh, taking out a crashed opponent there, and we are finally back in the Dirt Burners Dogbone race number 2 over in BeamNG, and so we'll get that fired up here and start that rolling along. In the meantime, still cruising through our first race here in Wreckfest, and that, I would say, is one of the big differences between Wreckfest and BeamNG in general. Now, I realize we're not exactly comparing apples to apples, right? BeamNG is primarily a soft body physics simulator, in which case a lot of people have created a lot of mods for, and the physics engine is ultra realistic and fragile, for lack of a better description, whereas on the BeamNG, on the Wreckfest side, I mean, it's Wreckfest, so it's meant to be slightly arcadey, at least with the settings I have. Now, over on the BeamNG side, I thought maybe if I went the wrong way, that perhaps that might give me some leverage. Unfortunately, in BeamNG, when you go the wrong way in order to hit a checkpoint, the game can't automatically adjust where checkpoints are, so it has to come back around for that. So unfortunately, me going the wrong way just meant that I got smacked in the front end and got flipped, turned around, and at this point I'm probably a lap behind, maybe. I'm not sure. But we ended up in second place over in Wreckfest, so that was awesome for our first go around. So what I decided to do was jump into the difficulty level of Wreckfest for the second round. And I thought I would pump it up. I actually thought there was a mode called Realistic, but there's not. So the closest that I could find anyway was Extra Hard for the gameplay, and then setting the AI on Expert mode. I figured that would pretty much equate to BeamNG, although honestly putting the AI on Expert mode, that's nowhere near BeamNG. The BeamNG AI are not experts by any stretch. They're frankly kind of idiots, really. I probably should have left the AI intelligence on Wreckfest down on whatever it was, amateur or basic, or whatever's just above no intelligence whatsoever. Oh, I will tell you, changing things in Wreckfest, though, my car, what is going on? Oh, well, okay. So one of the side effects that I didn't realize in changing the difficulty was now I am driving manual transmission in Wreckfest, which I'll be honest, I don't think I'd ever done before. So, okay, well, we'll give the manual transmission the old college try on the Wreckfest side. In the meantime, on the BeamNG side, we skirt around a corner and head on toward the long stretch of the bone map. Oh man, some of the other differences, the BeamNG stretch, the straight stretch, to me is much harder than in the Wreckfest. What's the word I'm looking for? The whoop-de-doos, but what is the word? But anyway, the moguls is what I'm thinking for skiing, right? So the moguls, as they were on the BeamNG side, are much more pronounced, and I think they lend themselves to a much more dynamic environment, where on the Wreckfest side, as I get pummeled and flipped upside down, the straight stretch, for the most part, is just a straight stretch of dirt. There's not really any kind of, up and down mogul activity, as it were, as we lose control. I'm having such a hard time in Wreckfest driving this vehicle in the manual transmission, just because, it's me. I'm kind of an idiot. Over on the BeamNG side, though, our bumper is certainly trailing along, but will not shake off. No Taylor Swift going on there. Okay, so as we hit the bumps over on the BeamNG side, we see, some spin out action, and end up slamming straight into that particular vehicle. Oh, tried to grab my bumper, but didn't grab it, and I think that might have actually slowed him down. I thought that was going to put us out. It did not. Over on BeamNG, slamming down. Oh, and on Wreckfest, we fall off the map. There's so much going on, so much to see. You might have to rewatch this, focusing on one side of the map and the video, and then watch it again, focusing on the other side. There's so much lunacy happening here in both of these games. Oh, get a little check. Oh, no. Oh, we've got a pile up here. Traffic jam. Let me see if I can back up out of here. I am pinned in. Well, I'm definitely pinned in on the BeamNG side. Now, look at that. We've got a major pileup, and this is where the fact that you can't just simply reset your car to get back on track in BeamNG comes into play. You know, we've seen several times on the Wreckfest side, I've messed things up. I just hit R, I get put back into place, everything's good to go, we just pick up. Ouch, on the BeamNG side, no, not only am I out of commission to where I can't reset, I can't actually move out of the way. And so, as we watch the demise of my run in BeamNG on the left, we watch the not-so-glamorous run on Wreckfest over on the right-hand side, where we are currently in 7th place as I fall off the edge. But that's a perfect demonstration right there. All I got to do is hit R, and I'm back in it. Anyhow, I think we're in 7th place, and we stay there for the remainder of that particular run. So anyhow, there you go. That is just a side-by-side comparison of the BeamNG Dogbone track as part of HighDef's Dirt Burners mod, and then the Wreckfest Boneyard track. I don't know. I just thought it might be fun to do that side by side. Got any questions, problems, suggestions, horror stories? Feel free to leave those down leave those down in the comments section below. Ah, boy. There we go. Yeah. All right. Special thanks to Hero of God, GamerGull, and LosWilko for supporting me on Patreon. You can check that out, patreon.com/davidinark. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and man, we'll see you next time on BeamNG or on Wreckfest. Probably not at the same time ever again. Then again, you never know with me. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.